Now we are for sure recording.
I like to hear.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Lessons Learned, ATW. And as promised, this week we do have another special guest. This man right here is a modern day Renaissance man. He's a visionary. He's a pioneer in the digital marketing, digital production world here in Wichita, Kansas. This man is an entrepreneur. He runs a multimedia house, Vibe Wichita. Vibe Wichita houses podcasts, shows, to mention but a few. This man is also a visual artist. He does video work. He's a cinematographer. To mention on that field but a few. I'm adding some more. This man here is also a manager to a very talented singer, songwriter, endless. The person that I'm talking about is Troy Andrews. What's up, Troy?
What's going on, man? What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Welcome to Lessons Learned ATW, man.
Yeah, I got to correct you on one thing.
Okay,
so
correct me.
Endless is under new management.
Okay.
She's schedule's getting busy and all kind of crazy things for me and for stuff she's got going on. So she does have a new manager, but we're still cool. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely still cool. So but
Okay.
yeah, I had to let that go. But
the man that discovered,
yes,
help artists develop endless. She's an amazing talent.
Oh, absolutely.
She's an amazing
absolutely
talent.
Love her, man. Love her. She's continuing to grow.
So Troy, I've known you for quite some time. I mean, we are both alumni of the good old Emporia State.
Emporia State.
And I think that's the first time I was introduced to you was
right
back in Emporia, Kansas, and then once I moved over here to your hometown. No, but isn't your hometown somewhere in California? I mean, we'll get to that, but I'll let you give everybody a history, your history, your background. But I linked up with him in Wichita, Kansas through a friend, Brand Trail, or Amsterdam Graham, as he wants to be addressed in public.
Shout out to Trail.
Trail, yeah. He told me, don't call me Trail. I'm Amsterdam Graham now. But Trail introduced me, and at that time I saw you, a person with a vision, a person that had this idea of building this empire of creativeness, just everything creative, whether it's with the camera, whether it's with the microphone, whether it's with sound production, whether it's with recording stuff. Like, man, I can't even really describe what you do. You just do so many things. Troy, do you mind sharing with the listeners of Lessons Learned your background, your history, and what later on amalgamated and formulated something like Troy Andrews that runs Vibe Wichita?
Right. Well, a little background on me. I'm an actor by trade. Like, I grew up in Southern California, acting. And I was once we moved to Kansas, my father got a promotion working for the aircraft company, and we had to relocate. Then I got to, school, college. My minor was theater, but I went to school for law because I wanted to be a judge, and just had so many different changes of heart. So I don't know, it went back to my first love, and I purchased a camera. Actually, my friend was doing YouTube videos, and I purchased my own, the same one he had, and I started shooting short films, and I started seeing the reception of telling stories. First they were comedy, but everyone was like, man, that do be happening to me. And I started thinking about it, and I started receiving my calling as a cinematographer, as a creator, and after a while, I realized there was a lot of questions that weren't being asked, or I should say this, there was a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of questions not being answered. So I wanted to start something where we could have a conversation and let it be just fair across the table. Everyone get a word and say what they got to say. And that's how I came up with the podcast Vibe Wichita. And from there, it started to grow legs. It just got crazy. You started in the back of a barbershop, you know, and you were a part of the cast at the beginning. And then once I started to develop it a little more, you know, we eventually moved from the barbershop back to my house. And then my wife was like, get it out of here. Move it. I moved it into a studio. It was like an 11.5 by 11.5 office space. And, you know, through just a lot of hard work and a lot of faithfulness, you know, we were able to move it into a place that's about 7 or 8 times the size now. And the journey's been crazy, man, because, you know, I had put myself into a situation where it's like, all right, Troy, you got this podcast that has turned into a network. Now you have different shows. You got a food show. You got a artist showcase. You got a young adult female podcast. You got, you know, the original podcast. You got just all these a couple other shows and doing things for high school kids. Right. And it started taking away from, you know, what I wanted to do as far as filmmaking. And then I started managing artists, Endless, when she was 15. And, you know, we got her all the way up to where her first project came out. And, you know, we ended up separating at that point. And, you know, once again, schedules get busy, dedicating time, and it gets very difficult. So for me, I took that as a moment, because now Strap knows, but I'm a very spiritual man. Right, and I believe in Christ, you know. So I went into prayer and I asked that anything that's on my plate that I don't need, can you please remove it, God? And God started removing stuff. So my artist was one of those things. I didn't think that would be it, but it was like, hey, okay. So he has my focus now where I can focus on filmmaking. I have a team of 8 now with Vibe Wichita. Right. So I virtually don't have to do much of anything, you know? So that's been my journey so far. And the team is continuing to grow, and our network is so crazy, man, because of where we started, you know. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna show you. I know you remember, but they were white. Yep. I had 2 of these.
You had like 2 computers running the recording.
Yeah, because you can't record with 2 of these in one computer.
Right.
So we had to, you know, I keep this with me as like a you know, memorabilia. You know, just kind of keeps me grounded.
Yeah, that reminds you, the beginnings, man, the grassroots.
Absolutely.
Man, like, bro, you said something very, very deep right there, about not knowing at that time that you had so much on your plate, but you used your spiritual side to somewhat, and I'm going to paraphrase with my own understanding what you said. You use your spirituality, use your religion to help use the process of elimination to help you get to where you need to go, to your original path, which is where you are right now and where you're going to be in the future because of this trail that you're taking, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking about that where you talked about sometimes as creatives, as people with great ideas, people that wake up every day with a eureka moment, like every day I wake up with like I dream of ideas, and I wake up and I realized for a long time coming up with ideas was the easiest part. Executing them was a little hard, but maintaining them over the years was the hardest. Executing is easy. Just getting them started is easy, right? But now, how many times can you, if you Jordan, how many times can you have a 50 ball? How many times can you can have a good night one day, but how many times can you do it consistently? And then as a creative, you realize sometimes you can spread yourself thin. Like you were saying, your schedule was ridiculous, and maybe it was not helping you physically, mentally, and even your health. Like I'm just imagining you managing, running this company, doing this, doing that, doing this. And then just through elimination and through, you know, praying about it and using your spirituality to guide you, everything started becoming symbiotic. Everything started just happening naturally. And, you know, it's just now like I'll be honest, you have a machine now. You have a machine. And and the beauty about a machine is all you have to do is just put the key in the ignition, or you just even if it's a push start and it's gone, it's starting. You don't have to push start it. You
That's
don't.
a
It's not
fact.
like So talking about your machine, we're talking about Vibe Wichita. I hear you using the word network. I'm gonna take it a step further. You have a media house. You don't just have a network, bro. You
Yeah.
have Disney. You're our Disney. You're the
Wow.
Disney here. You're the person that will have shows on shows on shows under your catalog, and you may even own a ESPN under your housing. You may own like you can own all these different entities, not own, but they could be under you. They could be
Mm.
umbrellaed by you. You're a
Wow.
media house because if you're calling it a network, then there's going to be programming in that. There's going to be scheduling in that, but it's not even just that. It's bigger than that. The idea, I mean, because I believe verbalizing things actually puts everything in the world. Like verbalizing,
Yeah.
even though it sounds crazy saying I have a media house or
Yeah.
I have this type of thing because it sounds big, but it is.
Right.
I mean, having
Right.
all these shows,
Yeah.
all the podcasts that are underneath the umbrella, Vibe Wichita, and
Right.
then also having the studio space that you have. And I would say this, the aesthetics of it is amazing. How you've over the years mastered how to use your lights, the
Yeah.
cools on the
Yeah.
hots, and how you
Yeah.
you play off that, and you mastered your aesthetic, and you always get better. I see you silently shadowing people like Andre Kmeyer,
Absolutely.
just shadowing and learning, and you're absorbing. You're a student of the game, so that means that already shows me that dude is not only he's always increasing his bag of tools. Like he's adding more tools in his bag. So man,
Every day, man. That's
super,
everyday situation. Yeah.
that's super commendable, and especially having a leader, a spearhead like you in the field, in the trenches with the people that you work with. You're the guy who will hold the camera. You're the guy who's gonna do the production on everything. You're the guy
Yes.
you're the guy who's gonna do the post production and edit everything. You're the guy who's gonna mix everything. It's not like you're
Yeah.
uh, you're just the brainchild and you have like specialized manpower doing every other thing. You're the guy who's getting, you're folding your pants, you're folding your everything, and you're just getting into the mud, and you're getting dirty. You're just working.
Yeah.
And that's commendable. So going on to my next question, and this is more like this question is designed, or it's the type of question where I ask most creatives how they became of existence in the creative world, right? Who influenced you to want to pick up, because you picked up the camera. You talked about how you picked up the camera, but
Yeah.
pre picking up the camera and post picking up the camera, we all have different influences, right?
Mhm.
Before I picked up the microphone, I'll tell you the truth. I used to rap. I used to like the corny rappers that like Will Smith was one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Because I was a kid. I watched Men in Black. I was watching, Independence Day, and then when I knew he was rapping, I was listening to his raps, right? And then when I picked up the mic, I was like, that's there's people like Nas, and then that's when I was into the Mobb Deep. Pre picking up the camera, when you were the person that was an actor, law student type of mold, who influenced you to even dream like this, to even dream to have this whole thing? Who influenced you? Who are your influencers?
It is such a tough
Pre and post.
Pre and post? Okay.
In the beginning and now.
Okay. So as a kid, bro, I mean, I got to tell you, it's Michael Jackson. Just growing up, I mean, for the longest time, it was Michael Jackson. And it wasn't just the hits. It wasn't just the music. It was the effect that he had on people, literally just being present. You see when he showed up to a performance, and he just stood there for 10 minutes, and the crowd just would not be quiet. Like they just continued to roar, and people fainting and things like that. And just seeing him like in his own element, just being who he is, and just like, like I don't care. He never cared. Like, I don't want to say he never cared about what anybody thought, but like the fact that you know, he, despite of what he went through with his father and his family, he continued to make music. He continued to do certain things that helped him in his career. And you know, like I said, as a kid, that was admirable, and I wanted to, you know, live vicariously through him. Like it was amazing. So just growing up, I kind of kept that in mind as I did everything. And then I'll say it was two people. It was Michael Jackson. But then as I got like a little in college, it was Ray Lewis. And not just for football, because I did play college football. I was a linebacker. And it wasn't just for football. It was his leadership. It was how he spoke to people, how he uplifted everyone. All of that charisma. Like, my guy, it, like, you could be on the worst team and he could get you so hyped that you just might win that game. Yeah. Seriously. Like, he got you in the zone, and he was spiritual. So that was, I would definitely say Michael Jackson and Ray Lewis. And post, right now, and I don't care what nobody says. They could say his movies are corny. They could say all of that is just trash. But definitely Tyler Perry. And Jordan Peele.
Absolutely, man. I don't know. I used to hear that, but it was just because I understand why people would somewhat label some of his production. Label some of his production as not Oscar material because of his storyline and maybe depiction of his depiction of the black male sometimes, and some people just got tired of it.
Very true.
But if we talk about independence, if we talk about ownership, if we talk about a dollar and a dream, man, his stories is super inspiring, bro. We talk about that. That story is like, it gives you chills just to hear. Yeah. Man,
his story makes me feel like I haven't been through anything in life.
Yeah.
Living in your car. Yeah. And I mean, like, living in your car and still doing plays, and you know, you do a play and you don't have any money to even get back home from North Carolina or wherever he was at. And you know, he had to borrow money from the guy who the manager of the theater, and he said, you know what? I'm going to bless you one day in the future. I'm going to come back and I'm going to take care of you. And he kept his word. He blessed that man after he just continued to blow up. But it's undeniable. We could look at his catalog. We could look at what he's doing now. Now he has an entire production studio, man. And I mean, like, what is it? 300 and something acres, 380 acres or something like that.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And it's not new.
I heard that he
had it for
a
while.
I heard that he has hotels there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you know, if you're traveling, if you're a traveling talent, you could live around his premise. Like, in the premise, there's all these different amenities that he has built. Like, you can live, like, it's a little village. Or
it is.
And the story of the land that he bought was like ridiculous. Like, it was owned by
it used to be a U.S. Confederate Army.
That's crazy, man.
Confederate Army base. Yeah, man. And you know, they were trying to keep the slaves, and now him being a descendant of a slave, he now owns that property. Oh my gosh. Like, to me, sky's the limit. It's like that goes to show why would you sit back and sit on your gift? If your gift is to songwrite, why are you not doing everything you can to songwrite? If your gift is to make pies, why are you not learning different pie recipes and opening your business and selling your pies? If that's what it is, you have to commit to your gift. But so many people have so many gifts and ideas, and they're going to take them to the grave with them.
Yeah. And you know, like, I think you've said a very, very valid statement. Like, how many times when we were kids would you hear like an old person talking about wasted talent? Or you know, you hear an OG or like an old cousin or uncle saying, I used to do this in high school, I was this, I was that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then their best days are literally in their past. And I, for some reason, hearing that somewhat always triggered me, It triggered me because it kind of like depicted a future of me lacking fulfillment, because it happens not even to the rich, not to the poorest of people, but the richest. You find people in corporate America, but they envy athletes. They may make more money, but they just envy that shine of being a gladiator and playing in front of like 40,000 people. Like, it's just something where people will do anything. They'll have a successful career, but they just lack fulfillment. And I think that will be brought back to your statement of some of these people that have talents, like they're talented songwriters, but the passion is not there. They don't have the fulfillment in the songwriting. Maybe like you may never know. I may be, coming from, okay, let's say coming from Uganda, right? I never played baseball, but what if one time I'm pitching and I'm throwing it at a very high velocity and whatever, and I've never done it before. I'm like, bro, if you had grown up here, you'd have, but that's still not my passion. So my passion may be in the arts. Maybe I want to be an actor. And something about fulfillment is you see athletes at the highest levels, right? Retiring just to go start a rap career, and everybody will look at them like, they're crazy. They're like, yo, bro, all that money we spend on the AAU basketball, all that money we spend from like Pee Wee football, buying football is not cheap. Like, I'm imagining how much money your parents spend on you for a kid to become a professional athlete. How much money? Like, you're American. I didn't grow up playing but I know football. I didn't play football, but like you could attest to this. Football is an expensive sport.
It is, yes. It costs $250 as a kid for me. It's $250 a season.
It's an investment, and then these kids have been doing it forever. And then after they get to a certain level, they almost are there, or they are the pros, and they realize, dog, I've been trying to do this just to get my mom to clap or my pops to clap, or just to and then later on, man, I just want to paint. And then everybody will look at them like they're crazy. But no one ever psychoanalyzes the fulfillment. And that's the beautiful thing of giving people the freedom of finding their real fulfillment, and that's why I'm very remiss, and I pull myself away from looking at talented people, looking at talented artists, and or looking at like a Michael Jordan and asking, why are you walking away from the game? Why are you doing this? It's hard for me because I wish I had just a little bit of your talent. I just wish I had. I wish I had. I wish I could run the 40 like you could run. I wish I had the vertical that you had. But it's just human nature, man. But anyway, pulling away from that and just bringing it back to our guest Troy Andrews. So you've worked with a lot of people, right? You've developed a lot of creatives.
Yes.
Your management. You've opened doors, and you've housed a lot of talent, right? So what's your most notable collaboration or your most memorable moment? Something that you, even it's your career right now, I would say still early. We've not yet got to the 20 years. You're still new into your career, right?
Yeah. So,
in this new career that you have, right? And what's the most notable collaboration and altogether collaboration, artist, person that you've worked with, something that you've done and you're like, that's a moment?
That right there. Well, man, that's a good one right there. I would absolutely have to say, you know what? Can I give two? I got two.
Yeah, please.
So I would say one of the first ones would be doing high school highlight videos for athletes who aren't getting recruited from college. So making these highlight videos, and now they're getting recruited, that right there, I've had at least 3 high school athletes that I've made like personal highlight videos because I was at the game. I made personal highlight videos and gave them to them for free. Didn't charge them anything. And I'm like, yo, I know it's difficult, but you have a gift, you have a skill, and I know how hungry you are. Hopefully this should help. you know, and the parents are just trying to thank me and they're trying to give me money and trying to do things. And I'm like, no, don't worry about that. I know what that feels like as a high school athlete not getting recruited.
Yeah.
So me doing what I'm doing now, that's that man, why wouldn't I do this? So that's the first one, is being able to do that collaboration with the Wichita Public, the USD 259 Wichita Public Schools. And the second one, I would say the one that's going to be the most memorable is me working with Endless. That's going to be one that's, you know, in the books. I was so invested. I even like took almost a whole year off of Vibe Wichita so that I could focus on helping her get where she needed to be. You know, like I said, from 15 to, you know, now I think she's 19 now, but you know, we cut ties basically the beginning of November last year, you know. But yeah, all that time, man, just artist development, coming to the studio, sitting back. She did 90% of the writing, and the only thing I did maybe was like ad libs or something like that, you know. But she's amazing. Like, she's a super creative like genius, like when she's writing her music, you know. So we were kind of like that 1-2 punch. All she had to do was come in, sing. I helped her, you know. I pitched in a little bit with songwriting. I did all her engineering. I did I ran her social media. I did her music videos. I did her photography. You know, like, I was a one-stop shop for her. She didn't have to do nothing. And, you know, just that investment, seeing what I was able to do, and seeing how I say product, she, you know, but you see the finished product, bro. And I'm like,
bro, it was,
I could do that. Okay.
Yeah, I could attest to what you're saying, bro. I saw the exponential growth, like from when you'd invite me over for Cypher, like, you know, vibe out sessions.
Yes.
And to the product that you had when she put out the album or the project.
Yes.
Bro, that growth was, if it's a chart, it's just going like this. And the confidence that she had, she developed as a performer, how comfortable she became on the camera, and also your own personal growth too. Like, you as a manager, like, you learned how to manage people, you know. So project managing is another thing there, because you have to motivate people when you're not motivated at yourself. Like, sitting down having do post-production on a video that is not quintessentially your face on it is very hard. Like, and having to sit down, because that video stuff takes forever.
My goodness,
man, I can only imagine, man, how many gray hairs you are growing when you've not hit 30 yet.
I plucked them. I plucked them. You know what I'm saying? Everyone I see, I'm like, babe, my wife does my hair, so I'm like, I see one. Can you get me? But no, you know, now from that, me being able to help her, now I've been able to help other artists. Now that's another thing I do, is I help other artists. I still help, like, I help heavy with songwriting now,
right?
But also helping album rollouts or project rollouts. You know, and that's something that's very slept on in this city, is a project rollout. So, you know, that I'll have the artist come in and we'll sit down. I'm like, what you got? You got a single, EP, album, mixtape. Okay, now we have to develop a strategy on how to deliver it to everyone. You know, you gotta be able to give them an appetizer. You gotta tease them, and then when the product comes, it's like, yo, they're all over it. Like, you tease them enough, they're like, yo, I'm taking this, I'm running with it. They're going to listen to it more than once. This is how we get our streams right. This is how you get your notoriety. This is how you get shows. And this is how you eventually develop your career. So I actually do career development, artist development still. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're also an executive producer to a lot of shows.
Yes.
I would say, like, for me personally, just sitting here, having to interview you, I'm also learning it. I'm also in the process of learning, because I'm a fairly I'm a novice in this hemisphere of being a talking head, having just a microphone and having a show, and having content that is not only informative but also entertaining for people to sit down and, you know, do their due for an hour. It's very hard to keep people engaged in. So like I'm learning
Yeah.
from the footsteps, from the bricks that you guys laid down, and from everything. So like, man, like looking at you, I'm looking at you as a resource. I'll be reaching out to you. Of course, I'll have questions, but
Yes.
absolutely, man, I'm definitely gonna use you as a measuring stick of standard because you have quality and you do a lot of great stuff. So man,
Thank you.
that's just me giving you a quick salute, handing you
appreciate
a few flowers. I hate when people say roses because some people are allergic to roses. Depending on the stuff,
Thorns and roses.
depending on the flora that you like, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just give you a gift card and you buy your own flowers, right? You still be alive though to get that gift card.
Right.
Oh, I give you an Amazon gift card, man. I'll just
shoot. I'll definitely take that. There's so much equipment I want to get off Amazon, so I will definitely take that.
All right. So, man, we touched a little bit on how you look at life and how you're guided by spirituality,
Yes,
and
sir.
how most of your moves, most of your actions are predicated off prayer and speaking to your higher power.
Yes.
And what's the next move? Guide me through this. If show me who I shouldn't, tying all that together, do you have a personal mantra or ideology that really you follow and you go by that somewhat helps you, first of all, attain your goals, and secondly, live or go to sleep feeling fulfilled, right? So I'll use an example because that may be it's a loaded question, right? There's so many things in it. I, for one, have a mantra that I developed from reading a few books. A philosopher by the name of Talupa had this saying of be open to everything and be attached to nothing.
Right.
And that, to me, made me accept change. Be happy. I mean, not be happy, but be content with change. Make change your friend. And also tying into another philosopher, actor Bruce Lee, saying, be like water, fit in any cup that you could, any vessel that you put in, right? And then also tying, putting the fear of not letting go, the attachment thing. Where you attach to nothing, you could lose everything today and still build it up because you're not attached to any material thing. I'm not attached to my shoes. I have nothing. I could give away anything precious besides my daughter that I just had. But
yes, congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, but my daughter, my lady. I mean, besides family, any other thing can be replaced. I believe. Besides, even friendship cannot be replaced. Some friendship that I have, right? Do you have a saying, something that you read every day and it reminds you of who you are and your core values? Personal ideology?
I got two.
Let's go.
I got two. So the first one is from the Bible, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. So something that I wasn't open about it for a minute, but I also didn't realize I was dealing with it since I was a teenager, was anxiety. I had dealt with heavy anxiety. And I think a lot of that had to do with me being unsure of what the outcome was going to be, and I was always trying to control the outcome of everything that I was a part of. That's why, this is part of the reasons why I don't ride roller coasters, because I can't control it, and, it was just like the anxiety got to a point where I was having trouble breathing, just sitting on the couch, watching TV. Like I couldn't laugh. Otherwise I'd have a panic attack. And I'm like, whoa, okay, let's see what this is about, and I was worried about so much. And that's when my plate was heavy, man. So, me being the spiritual person, having the spiritual relationship with Jesus that I had to understand that in this, I'm not in control of anything. I don't control anything. You know what I'm saying? I actually I just went through a situation where I've been shortness of breath. I had shortness of breath for like 2 weeks, and I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, yo, this can't be Uncle COVID. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Aunt Rona in here messing with me. Like, what is this?
Right.
Went to the ER. They were like, yo, like they tested me all over the place. I was like, dude, we just think you're hyperventilating and you just dealing with anxiety. And I'm like, yo, this ain't anxiety because I'm chilling right now. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just chilling. And come to find out, it was allergies. So if I could control me and my breathing, you know what I'm saying, then I'd be good. What would be the point of me trusting in a higher power? Me,
right.
You know? But the fact that I couldn't control that, the fact that I can't control my friends dying, the fact that I can't control who watches my show and who doesn't, or watches my network or my media house, or the fact that whatever I do, I might walk out here and just be judged, and people don't actually know me personally. I cannot control anything. I can only stand up, wake up every day, thank the Lord for waking me up, and do what I've been called to do. And through that, my path has been straight, been made straight, trusting in Him and edifying others. So that's my first, one of the first things that I think about every single day. Like, my second thing is, it's a quote from Darren Hardy. It's success is what you think, say, and do. I'm sorry. Success is when what you think, say, and do are the same. From Darren Hardy. So I used to be very ambitious. Like, I'm still ambitious, but my ambition didn't match my emotional intelligence. Like my like the information that I had. I didn't know how to control the information I had. So I was just very ambitious. I wanted to do this. I wanted to make a movie. I wanted to develop a production company. I wanted to build a network. I wanted to do this much in my marriage. I wanted to do this, that, and the third. And it was just what I was saying. But then I had to match my efforts with what I was saying. I had to match my thoughts with what I was saying. So, man, from there, dude, everything's work ethic. I studied for 2 years. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Let's back it up. I studied for 1 full year about what a podcast was, how to build it, the equipment you needed, how to run it, just how to, like, the conversations, listening to other podcasts before I even got our first episode started. And you were actually on one of my very, very, very first ones that never got posted.
Right.
Never got to upload it because I just the transfer of the audio, I started losing the audio. And it took like 5 to 8 hours to edit because it was bananas, man.
There was no production. The what they call it, the producer was in there to like regulate us. Hey, talking a lot. None of that. We never had any regulation or any formatting. It was good.
Fun.
I'll tell you this, that was good. And sorry for stopping your trail because you were on a path and you were going somewhere. Those early days of you inviting me over to sit down and just converse and in formatting it like a podcast helped me understand the power of listening.
Yes. Because
I would go back and sit back and listen. And I'm like, yo, okay. It made sense at that moment, but now from the audio side of things, it's like, okay, now we are all in the weeds of stuff because you bring a notion and then we just take it somewhere else, which is brilliant of its own kind. But again, it was like, to me, it was like artist development for what I'm doing right now. And you were talking about the one you took 1 year to study.
To learn. I'm a student.
Right.
I don't care what it is I'm doing. I'm a student every single day. I watch a video on filmmaking. I watch a video on church production. I watch a video on photography. I watch a video on podcasting. I watch gaming videos. I watch short films. I mean, this is every single day. Holla at my wife. She will tell you. Like, this is literally like my desk right here. This is like my sanctuary. Is, you know, I got it built. You know, my computer built. It's a beast now, and like I am in student mode 100% of the time. That's why I'm not a person that is just going to come to set and just take over everything. No, like I do want everything planned. I'm not going to just like come to set and, you know, and we just wing it. No, I don't do that. But if I do go to someone like Andre K. Meyer, and to something he's doing, I am sitting there and I'm listening. Now it's gotten to the point with my filmmaking and my skills, or with my skill. There's some things that I don't agree with that Dre does, you know, whether it's filming at that moment or in his edit while he edits, or what he's doing with his edit, the finished product. There's things that I don't agree with now because I've gotten, you know, to a point where I'm like, okay, well, this is how I develop things. This is how I like it. Cool. But I tell you what, now that everything is matching my like, I'm walking what I'm talking. The long story short with that quote right there, I walk what I talk. Man.
Absolutely.
And I just, you know, yeah, go ahead.
One thing I would say, just watching from afar, bro, like I remember whenever you'd ask me to critique either video work or anything that you're working on back then, and
music,
and you know,
projects.
Some people don't know I also shoot videos, but I keep that very low. And most of the time I would use my girl at that time to hold the camera, and I would just tell her how to hold it. And when it's gimbal work, and it's the hardest thing to shoot yourself, knowing how it's a mess. I mean, you have to know how to project manage, you know how to storyboard, you have to have, like how you said, winging it is it's not even on the table. If you're really trying to get something, you have to, people hate this stuff, you have to have meetings, you have to have pre-production, you have to sit down and have a real plan, because if you don't, the product is gonna lack.
Yes.
And all that stuff that you see that looks like it's spontaneous and they just buddies are sitting down. Nah, them dudes had like 40 minutes of pre-production, and they just making it look like it's free flowing, because man, there's no substitute for time of preparation. There's never a substitute for that.
No.
In any field, whether sports, whether artistry, whether anything, any form of, if you're going to entertain and put your stuff out there for people to critique, there is no substitute for the time used to prepare.
See, I don't want people to mix up is having structure and being organic. Those are like,
exactly, yeah.
You know, they have to be able to coexist. You know, but what you were saying is correct. I mean, yeah, definitely there is pre-production. Like, for instance, let's just talk about the podcast, man. Like, I think the last one you were on was when we talked about the Vegas shooter. You know, I just said, let's talk about the Vegas shooter, and we just came in there. Now, their structure, basically, it's like, y'all know what we're talking about.
Right.
You come in there, and this is what we do. Or we could talk about Vibe with Her. Vibe with Her, they have show notes. So they know at the beginning of the show, we're greeting everyone, we're thanking the sponsors, you know, we play a game, we do this, we thank another sponsor, we get to the topic, we do this. They know the structure of the show.
Right.
Everything is organic. Like, they may have in their mind what they're talking about, but it's like, yo, okay, now see, I read that, and this is like, this is really how I feel, like blah 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 blah, and they just go on like, I don't want people to be robots, because when you're robotic, you're basically a carbon copy of whatever it is that you've learned, you know. So if I sat behind Dre all the time, everything I did would come out looking like Dre's. There would be two fiction media YouTube channels here in Wichita.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No, I can't, you know, so that's why I gotta look at what Tyler Perry's doing. I gotta look at what Spike Lee's doing, John Singleton, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? I go back and watch things like Back to the Future and look at
one of my favorite movies.
Dude, my wife has not seen Back to the Future. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
Her, yo.
I mean, I could side with her, because people hate me. I mean, people hate me when I say, I mean, people don't hate me, but People
Yeah.
just look at me sideways when I say this. I've never watched a Star Wars movie.
Me either, dude. No,
So I said that, and then they're like, "What?"
Oh yeah, George Lucas can have it, man. No, I'm
I've,
good,
I've
man.
never watched a Star Wars or a Star Trek, so
I'm not watching either one. I've seen Star Trek,
I've never
but that
seen
was
any of them.
because
So.
my father likes it, So, and I used to watch TV with my pops a lot. He's the one who really got me into like filmmaking. Like I'd be 6 years old watching
Yeah,
action
let's talk
films
about
and
that.
how,
Let's
yeah.
talk about that. Let's talk about. Well, I mean, I've never dove deep with any of my guests about this current topic that I want to bring forth to you. You are the
Okay.
first, and I'm gonna have another guest who's has acting background, right? An acting background. You're the
Okay.
first guest that is
Right.
that initially said I wanted to be an actor, right? Or you were acting, right?
Mhm.
Initially, that was before you holding a camera. You wanted to be the talent, right?
Yes.
The actor, right?
Yes, sir.
Being an actor, you have to have some form of imagination and escapism. How do you escape your natural tendencies and be somebody else? Or you have to have a form of deception. Like I want to be an actor, and I thought
Yeah.
it was easy, and I tried to do my own little things with my cameras, and I realized, bro, I just still look like myself. My mannerisms are still me. There's some things that you definitely. Acting is one of the hardest things ever, especially for people that don't know, who first of all have no idea of self, don't know
Yeah.
how they look like when they walk, their mannerisms, the way they talk, the way they do stuff, and you see actors just shape shifting and just being somebody else in every movie, and you're like, how do you do that? How do you switch up an accent and become this person? You're crazy in the mind. I mean, I'm not saying that to disrespect, but I'm like, how do you?
No, you're right. That's the truth.
How do you forget your core self and be somebody else and make it believable? And I'm asking you because you had that desire. I've seen you act before.
Yeah.
I've seen you act in
I have
videos.
another film coming out with
Right.
me playing a single father.
Single father with a
And
daughter.
I have no kids. Yeah. I have no kids, and we're gonna see how this works out. But you're gonna believe what my acting. Trust me.
Where do you get this innate idea or this innate ability or feeling? Even okay, I would say with the idea when you're starting in the beginning,
Yeah.
but after you do it, it's not an idea. It's an actual thing that you have, right? Where do you get
It's
this
behavior.
innate feeling that I could be somebody else? How
Well,
dare you get this confidence? Like, I don't know how you guys do it. Sorry, I'm mesmerized. Like,
Right. Well, at first it was like you're so intrigued that someone can play something else or someone else that you begin to practice and rehearse like them. But like one of the most important things about that is you have to be comfortable not being yourself. You have to be comfortable being angry, being sad, being frustrated.
that's hard.
Calm. You have to learn how to act nervous. You have to show love in front of it. Like you have to be affectionate. Like you have to be comfortable doing those things before you decide like, yo, okay, I'm gonna try to act like this person. So for instance, if it was me, if it was my job to act like I'm from the panhandle of Florida and I grew up with a bunch of white people, you know what I'm saying? I gotta like find an example. My example would be probably, Forrest Gump. All the people down there, they all kind of talk like this, like they kind of had a little bit of little syrup kind of just oozing out the side of their, side
I
of
see
the
your
mouth.
chops, man. You got
You know what I'm
chops.
saying?
Right
And you just gotta get right back into it. We was back yonder handling business. We picked up one of them coons, you know what I'm saying, and we skinned it, and
Wow.
we cooked it up with the possums and all that. Like it's one of those things where it's kind of a learned behavior. You see it and you subconsciously like keep those things. So, if I wanted to be a thug from New York, you know what I'm saying? Hey, B, let me check this out. Yo, hey, man, we finna hit this corner real quick, Hey, hey, make sure we finna go to the parks. We finna ball out. We finna do this like MJ back in the day. But Dr. J used to hold the parks, you know what I'm saying? So we finna go up to Rucker Park,
Bro,
get it.
that right there, bro. You are you making it sound. I mean, the way you're doing it with the voices and how you could change from character to character, right? To you, it's
Right.
innate and it's easy. To me, I'm looking at it like rocket science, right? I'm looking at it like to the average person that finds it very hard to shake shift will be. I'm thinking in my head like, I'm 32, right? I'm turning 33.
Yeah.
I spent 33 years building this character that I am through
Wow.
people teaching me, my parents, correcting me, whether it's through punishment or whatever, to just become this person, right? To speak this type of way. And now for this moment of entertainment, I got to be this guy from New York or this guy from Boston or this guy from
Boston. You gotta get the coffee.
or this guy
Boston,
from the backwoods out here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like I cannot, like, it's so hard because, and that's where I think I'm gonna make up this word. It's called personality inflexibility.
Ooh,
like where
okay.
my personality is not flexible, and that's why maybe some people, there's a section of the people in the world cannot network in a room because they just either not self-aware of who they are and how they rub off on people. And while some people are just shapeshifters and they can absorb energy and they'll be like, okay, I know how to talk to somebody from New York. I know how to talk to somebody from Texas. I know how to talk to somebody from California. And I think it also comes from the superpower that you have, that you've traveled. You've lived in LA. You've lived here. You've been exposed to different personalities, right?
Yes.
I've traveled
and
too.
going to a junior college where you had all these people from down south,
right?
From Virginia all the way down to Texas, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi.
I think that makes you a better actor because you absorb these characters. You have a character for every person because you've been exposed to this person. You're like, oh, I can make a New York accent because I played ball with a guy from New York. For me, it's kind of different. Like, I don't know. Personally, I'm just talking about myself, but I just feel like it's a subset. Like, acting is not easy, bro. Like, people who's like acting coaches, you feel like, yeah, I'm a rapper. Oh, man, put me in a movie, man. I want to. No, bro, they're going to typecast you and they're going to make you act like yourself. Seriously.
Forever. You get typecast to rap. You will always be a thug.
I'm gonna be African guy 2 at the back. You got cause it's not being a thespian is a real talent. We a lot of people roll their eyes to people that did theater, right? Because they think it's dramatic, like Shakespeare, like wear costumes and just get A's in your classes if you classically trained, right? Yeah. And that's all I used to look at it in college. I'm like, man, if I was a theater major, I'd be acing this. Now I'm taking this freaking calculus, but after they put a camera in my face, I never knew I sweat. I sweat on the. You start sweating, right? Yeah. And then you forget lines first of all, remembering everything. Oh, yeah. And the power of improvising, bro. It's a talent. It's something that should not. If anybody that's listening to us, viewing us from YouTube, know that if you want to be an actor, an actress, it's work. But to some people like Troy, and I've met people like Troy, like where, bro, they just get the script, look at it one time, they know that person, and they could tap in. They just tap into somebody they already know. Yeah. And then there's some. I've also met people that are method actors, right? That have to watch documentaries, have to, let their, have to live the person's life, talk to their mom, know what their favorite meal.
Eat the same foods, all of that, man. But see, here, I'll share this with you. Because see, what I'm going to do, I am going to be having an acting improv, I want to call it a session at my studio soon, because I am going to be shooting more short films and eventually here, hopefully I can shoot a feature film either this year or next year.
Do you got dates? Do you got dates for any of these projects?
Not just yet. I'm still putting together like
when you got dates, please stop by here, man. We can chop it up. Like I want you to promote them here, please. If you want to use this as a media promo outlet.
Definitely, yeah. I'm in really June, because July is when I'm starting all my shooting for all the films that I'm doing. But there's four muscles when it comes to acting. Four muscles that you gotta have. Most people never recognize, but there's four muscles. The first one is a childlike innocence. So you have to be comfortable kind of being, sometimes you got to be a little immature, like you have to it's more of like tapping into that, once again, the childlike innocence. You have like this imagination, you have like this like you're a sponge, so you want to like you you think sometimes it's like it'd be cool if I was an older white man who narrated things. So let me watch this old white man that's narrating things. Oh, and now it's like, strapping cowboy eats a pistachio, and as he sits here and interviews Troy, he's very intrigued that he can do all these different voices. And it's being able to just soak that in. The second one is the imagination. Once again, you got to be imaginative. You got to be able to kind of create a person, create a personality, create all their traits. And then the next one is vulnerability. Have to be vulnerable. And the last one is concentration. So those are the four muscles in acting. But I'd say the biggest one is probably that childlike innocence, because you're just more susceptible to receiving, the information, or just kind of becoming, or as you would say, shapeshift to that actor or to that character. I always definitely suggest practicing different characters once you've gotten down, being able to be angry as yourself, right, or be sad as yourself, or be happy as yourself, show intimacy as yourself, things like that, or have an intimate moment, or be able to do a monologue. Now let's start working on different characters. I need you to be a father who's 55 years old, or who someone who just got back from war, or just got back from Iraq, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Man.
Yeah, bro, there's a misunderstanding with most creatives, especially rappers. They feel like, bro, since I have this persona as a rapper, I could be a good actor, because all the four muscles kind of tap into a little bit of an element of like a rapper in creation, right? Creating in the creation process, not the in the performing process when you're performing live, right? The childlike, you have to be animated, yes. If yes. And then being imaginative, having some escapism, and that's with a lyricist, like using similes and using things to just make move your message a little farther, but using things that people can relate to. And then what was the third?
It was vulnerability.
We get a Drake, right? Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You feel me though? That's the thing. Yeah. Me being vulnerable, I'm showing you something that's every day that's going on that you may be dealing with, and I have to be vulnerable, and I have to be able to receive that and then showcase it at the same time. And
then the last one is the most important as a rapper, is execution. Yeah, delivering those 32 bars with the same conviction, the same intent, the same venom that you wrote them. So I feel like it has a correlation, but when the camera is on you, it's different when the mic is on you.
Oh yeah.
The camera catches your actions, your weird movements of your body. If you like your hands, the camera catches everything. The mic
just catches all of your personal blocks. Every personal block you have. If you're nervous, the camera catches it. If you're shy, the camera catches it. If you don't know your lines, the camera catches it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Troy. Let's now I'm going to I'm going to ask you some quick hitters, right? All right. So, what was the last book you read during this downtime?
Ooh, Letters to the Church.
Don't tell me the Bible. Okay, never mind. What'd you say?
Letters to the Church. It wasn't the Bible. Okay. Letters to the Church. Yeah, I got real quick. It's it's something about why the church is dying, basically. And the book But no, that's a lie. That was not the last book I read. That was not Relationship Goals. Was the last book I read by Michael Todd.
Do you recommend that to the viewership and
I
listenership?
definitely Relationship Goals by Michael Todd just dropped 3 weeks ago. Is a bestseller already. Been sold out for like 3 weeks. So you can get it on Audible, you can get it on Kindle, all of that. I definitely recommend that. If you're single, if you're dating, engaged, or married for 40 years, all of that, I definitely recommend. Must read.
I'll definitely get that. I mean, I need that. I need strength in everything that I have.
Absolutely.
What was the last? Okay, no, I'm not gonna ask you that.
What?
Yeah, I could ask you that. What was the last? What was the last? What was a? Because you're not a musician, but you work with musicians.
I played instruments in high school.
What was the last? What was the last project you favored, or you listened to it like from end to end?
Ooh, dude, I listen to stuff all the time.
The last one.
The last one. Let me just pull up my Spotify. And I'll tell you.
Because I knew I was gonna ask this. Like I have like a little cheat, like a little quick hitters here for like. I talk to producers.
Okay, let me go to my search because I did listen to someone local, but the last project I listened to
end to end.
End to end.
And you favored it, and you
I favored it. I favored it.
You're like, yo, this is dope. This, and you could recommend it to, like, we're gonna recommend that to the people listening or viewing.
Man,
it's a tough one. I mean, you can shoot from the hip. You can shoot from the hip something that is a classic that man. You can shoot from the hip. Nobody's gonna like fact check you and go through your iTunes.
Yeah, end to end. Really, I'm gonna be real. Samuel David. Samuel David. Sound Advice.
Solid project. Shout out to Samuel David, man.
That was.
Were you the EP of that too?
Yes, I was. And we're still working on stuff and just getting it together because right now we're still low key, like we're still rolling it out. Yeah. So we gotta. It's heavy, bro. Like it's crazy right now. I love it though.
Yeah.
Man.
I like the Affairs in Order.
Oh yes.
Did I say the right? Was that the right title of the song?
I know what you're saying. I think you're trying to say what you call it? It's Affairs in Order. Yeah.
Yeah, that hard.
Yes.
Hard.
My God. He did his thing with that one.
Man, he and like just talking about a person that could spread themselves thin on doing everything. This man,
oh my gosh,
he's
man.
juggling. He's juggling. A producer, rapper, engineer.
He just picked up that engineering, man. He's getting nice at it, man. Oh my gosh, my guy's getting nice.
Absolutely. All right.
I like Division. Division was the last. Yeah,
that's a good project.
Division.
That is a good project. Good listeners. That last Division project.
Amusing her feelings. Yes.
Shout out to the people in Canada.
Yeah, OVL, Toronto.
Yeah, yep. Toronto. I was gonna say OVL. California, but I had to pull myself back. Yeah, that was a good project. Finally, we concluding our episodes, and if you've noticed, we have this common theme of closure, right? So we ask all our guests, with all that you've learned and all that you've done in your field of work, if you were talking to your younger version of Troy from high school, what would be the lessons learned game that you would pass down onto Troy? What gems would you drop down on young Troy? And we're talking to all the young Troys in the world right now, or even the ones that at your level right now. You can share something that is profound at any stage in life.
Ooh, it's gonna sound crazy, but I know me telling young me this, that he would understand it the way that I'm saying it. Um, Stop listening to people who have no wisdom or knowledge in the path that you're trying to take. And the first reason why, the main reason, is that time is not on your side with this. So stop waiting and just do it. That's what I would tell them. I listened to way too many people who had no idea what they were talking about in the lane that I was trying to go. And that really hindered me, because Vibe Wichita could be 10 years in now. I thought of this in 2012. Wow. I didn't start it until 2016. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So we'd be 8 years in. And I sat back and I waited on people and took information from people, and I never acted. And I continued to just do what I wanted to do, the stuff that didn't make sense. So do your research and know that time don't wait. Shout out to Sam and David.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it directly from the directors, producers, entrepreneur, podcast, multimedia house entrepreneur.
All that. All of that. Man.
Go off your gut instinct.
Yes.
And just do it.
Don't be scared.
Even in failure, even in success, there's a lesson.
Yes.
Man, Troy, thank you, bro.
Sir. No, thank you, Strap.
You for blessing me in my platform with your presence, bro. I appreciate you, man. I like these type of conversations, and that's what this whole idea of this show is predicated of. Because I feel like we don't, lessons learned is just, I mean, I know a lot of people. I want to talk to professionals. That's what I want to talk to. I want to talk to professionals and just help. You know, this is me passing down something, and it may not be me being the subject matter expert, because everybody knows I know nothing, but just from subject matter experts like you and the people that I'm sitting down and talking to, you guys have an abundance of wisdoms. You guys are resources, and I want to put the faces out there. I know you're always behind the camera. I mean, you're always not in front of the camera, so people don't know you. But you around a lot of, I mean, people know you, but like I'm saying, if they see your works all the time.
Yeah, they see my works more than they see my face.
Yeah, sure. So like I definitely want to see the youth, especially in the area that we live in, like, okay, this is the guy who's doing it, and he came from this type of background just like me, and he does this, he does that, he does this, he does that, he does this, he does that, and guess what? We all have 24 hours in a day, but he's doing all these things. So like, I'm not saying like, there's no excuses. I hate that type of jazz, because I played sports too, where you have that one team. There's no excuses, man. We doing gym work. Like, yeah, but like my back hurts, bro. I'm not trying to lift. I'm not trying to do 500 pounds on the squat. Like, I'm not trying to do no deadlift, man. I'm cool. But I just hated that yada yada jazz me up type of. I'd rather you do it I like the quiet work, and I watch you work. Lead by example rather than pumping your chest type of person. But yeah, Troy, thank you for blessing my platform. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of Lessons Learned, and we had Troy Andrews, bro. We had Troy Andrews.
Yes.
I feel
Strap,
blessed.
I appreciate you. I'm blessed. I'm actually surprised you were able to actually stop the conversation, because you can go. I appreciate you though, brother. I really do, because what you got going on is fire.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm learning. I will humble myself. I don't know anything that I'm doing. I'm just putting it out there, and whatever feedback I get. But in the process, every episode, I'm learning. I'm picking up. I'm learning, and I'm learning in front of everybody. So that's why I feel like it's organic to see a gradual improvement in either conversation selection, maybe just how I interact with the guests. But I want to keep this whole sequencing of our shows based on my friends and people that I admire, not famous people that oh God, I'm gonna go and find somebody that is famous, but I've never seen any of their works. I'm not been a follower of theirs. It's strictly from, I want to have that ownership of, these are people I really mess with.
Yes, sir.
And we don't cuss because my mom also listens to my podcast. If you noticed.
Oh, I know. Well, I noticed now. I just don't cuss.
I mean, I remember when you used to like produce, you like, hey, bro, the only thing I'm going to ask you guys is don't use the swear words. Which I respect. I don't do it anymore. I don't cuss, man.
Sponsors, sponsors.
And I you know, I'm a parent now. I'm exercising myself.
Lead by example, brother. That's it, man. Yeah. You gotta lead by example. I'm proud of you, though. I really am. Congratulations, you and your lady.
Absolutely.
Created new life, man. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Troy.
Yes, thank you.
Peace and love.
You too, brother.